the Gould Mine podcast.
So for the funds, you just spewed off a bunch of different things here, and we kind of glossed over or skipped over the fact that I believe the majority of our listeners are under the impression that opportunity zones are only designated for real estate. And so now you just said something that we kind of glossed over it. You talked about businesses. So what can you invest into in these opportunity zones? And maybe let's give a broader definition of what an opportunity zone is, right? I know geographically, on a map, you can spot it, but what does this opportunity zone allow for in terms of, all asset classes that are, looped into this?
To answer the question, Danny, is to tell you what you can't do. It's a lot.
Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Answer.
Okay.
All right. So this program has an aspect of it called sin businesses. Okay. And they basically are the no-goes. And it's a very short list. The first three, just think of Trump. So no golf courses, no casino, no country clubs. Pretty simple. The next couple.
No golf courses, no casinos,
no country clubs. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. The next up, no ABC liquor stores where you would go in and buy a bottle of Jack Daniels off the shelf and go home. So no ABC liquor stores. No suntan parlors, tattoo parlors, massage parlors.
Okay.
That's it.
Really?
That's it. The easiest way to look at the program is it's Play-Doh. Okay. So let's talk real estate. Let's talk business. We'll do business first since you brought up a very, very valid point. There's a massive misconception with the program that it is only a real estate related program. That's not true. Okay. Remember how I told you that this was the first time that this program or something like this has ever been done in the history of our country? What makes the program unique is there's an equal emphasis on workforce development and new job creation as much as there is real estate development. So when the program first launched, because this is a tax program, obviously it takes tax legislation, guidance, OMB, bunch of, documentation that comes out that explains how to do this. As a matter of fact, the documentation that came out, it's a grand total of a little over 1,150 pages of tax guidance on how to utilize the program. It's broken into two tranches of guidance. Tranche number 1 came out first. That was real estate related, basically saying, here's the ins and outs of how to do this for real estate. Tranche number 2 focused on business. Took 18 months to get tranche number 2. We got tranche number 2 in December of 2019, at the end of December, to be exact. Now, let's put a timeline into perspective. 2017, December, we have the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. June of 2018, the Opportunity Zone program goes live to the public. We get the very first set of 4.5 pages of IRC guidance. We get the initial statute. Then it was June of 2000 and, it was December of 2018. We get the guidance for real estate on how to do the real estate. It was then December of 2019, we get guidance on how to do business. We roll into 2020. Now, if you can think back, if you remember watching the State of the Union address back in 2020, one of the things that President Trump did was promote the Opportunity Zone program. And then from there, the White House Economic Development Revitalization Council under Trump had a program that was called Opportunity Now. And they went on a media blitz going all over the country promoting the Opportunity Zone program. You had Dr. Ben Carson, Scott Turner. You had Linda McMahon representing the SBA. You had a bunch of just people out there that were promoting the Opportunity Zone program. That was January to March. So a 90-day window of time. We finally have guidance. Everybody thinks 2020 is going to be the big year to launch the program. March of 2020, COVID hit. Then it went radio silence on the program. In the background of that radio silence, guidelines were given, COVID extensionary guidance was given out to the whole program. So what that did is it basically pushed the utilization of the program really from 2020 into mid to late 2021, 2022 being really the first real year of everything in place, no more COVID extensions, everything is done, all guidance in line. And, we had a great year 2022. We had an even better year utilizing the program 2023. Last year, there was over $50 billion that flowed through the program. But the crazy thing is 50 billion is a lot. There's been roughly 300 billion over the last 6 years. That's a lot. But I'll tell you what it is. In my mind, $300 billion is like scratching Antarctica with a toothpick, thinking that you just found the mother lode of ice. Because the market cap for the opportunity zones, when you talk capital gains, last year, according to the IRS, it was $9.2 trillion in capital gains.
Oh, wow.
9.2 trillion.
Tax-free.
So last year, $9.2 trillion in capital gains was generated.
Through opportunity zones.
No, just period.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, understood. I was like, through opportunity zones?
Capital gain money that was generated last year. But what does this program focus on? Capital gain dollars, right?
Right.
So that's a lot of money that could move into the program to go into community revitalization through both real estate and business. Now, with business, the way that this program works for business is it's a different set of criteria than real estate. Okay. A business is actually going to be looked at through hours worked by your employees, right? Are they working in an opportunity zone? Are you creating jobs? What type of tangible assets does the business have? What type of intangible assets does the business have? How old is the business? Now, the one thing about this program that's unique for business is it's not designed for an aged company to utilize the program. Not without spinning off a sub-NewCo that maybe they have ownership in, and then that sub-NewCo can take advantage of it. But just a large-scale company that's been around 20, 30 years, it's not designed for them. It's designed to spur new business development in these opportunity zones. So, a little different criteria. From an investing standpoint, there's timelines that the fund has to do all this stuff in. Businesses get double the amount of time. So, you looked at as kind of like a stabilizer. So businesses get virtually 5 years of a window of time for a fund to make an investment in, let's say, over a 5-year window of time versus all at once. So it can be used as a stabilizer. For real estate, the way the program works for real estate is going to be broken into two categories, either original use or something that's called substantial improvement. All right. Original use is going to be ground up. It's going to be maybe a property that's been vacant, condemned 18 months or longer. So that would be classified as original use. Substantial improvement is, let's say, a property that you're going to rehab. So let's say like in a multifamily complex and you want to upgrade it, right? Still going to stay multifamily. So that's substantial improvement. With substantial improvement, there is a minimum dollar amount that has to go into improvements in the deal. So the way it works is, let's just say I'm going to use a real basic, just because the zeros don't matter, right? So let's say I found a piece of property for $100,000 that had a fourplex on it in Alabama that I wanted to rehab. Okay. And I had an appraisal done, and let's say the fourplex was worth $75,000. The land was worth $25,000, altogether $100,000. I have to put $75,000 in improvements. So I have to match the value of the building when I'm doing a substantial improvement under the opportunity.
So you basically have to pour almost double or the same amount of the
whatever the value of the building is.
The improvement value, not the land value.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Yep. Got it.
Other than that, for real estate, like I said, minus golf courses, country clubs, and casinos, you can do it under the sun. And for business, as long as the business was established January 1st, 2018 or newer, it's not an ABC store, not a tattoo parlor, suntan parlor, massage parlor, you pretty much can utilize the program. And for business, and this is where I fell in love with the program, to be honest with you, Danny, it was not real estate. I was involved in a real estate deal. I came from private equity in the tech world. got involved in a real estate hotel turnaround project that happened to be opportunity zone. So that's how I got initiated in the program, because I've been involved with this since day one. But my passion for it is business, because what this does is this changes the nature of venture capital. You know, as a business owner seeking to expand or grow my business, I can structure and set up a fund and offer investors into my business the tax-free benefits. I don't have to go to a venture capital now. I can just set it up, offer it out to investors, put myself out there, I'll give the tax-free growth, and I can control and manage the terms and conditions of everything, especially exit. Because when you look at most businesses that bring in private equity, or they take venture capital, or they do notes, or, you know, round A, round B, round C, you know, really when the time comes, the big exit scenario is trying to go public or selling the company. But a lot of times for a business owner, neither one of those two exit options may be the best at that moment in time. But yet as a business owner, you've got investors that are trying to encourage you because they want to now get out. They've been in it long enough. And this program gives that business owner the ability to dictate and control what an exit would look like. So instead of maybe going public, instead of maybe selling the company, maybe it looks more like an equity buyback agreement that is done, where the business owner is able to buy back the equity. At the end of the day, they got what they needed. They got the growth. The investors are happy, creates a nice, clean exit, and the business owner is happy because they retained all their equity. So, you know, I think it's a heavily underutilized resource that every business owner in America that is looking to expand should absolutely be looking at. From franchising to manufacturing to data processing, data centers, to crypto mining, you name it, it can be done with the Opportunity Zone program.
So you bring up a good point, or a good thought experiment here. Obviously, opportunity zones don't exist everywhere, right? There's only certain pockets of America
they exist in all 50 states.
Okay, right.
But, and there's 8,700 of these designated just on a map, just like you're like looking at a paper map, just drew a circle, right? Yep. Everything in that circle, then that circle represents an opportunity zone. Everything that sits inside that circle may or may not be eligible. Just depends.
Okay.
It's real estate. Almost all of it is.